Hello and welcome again to Numbers Are Your Friends. I'm your host Mitchell Walker, and today on Monday, April the 6th, we have got a two number show today. Actually a couple more numbers than that, but we'll work our way through those. I'm a little late in getting this one out because it's been raining for the last 3 days here at my home in Mount Pleasant, Texas, and I have a metal roof on my house and you can't hear me speak when it's raining as hard as it's been raining for the last 3 days. But it's good to be back, and today we're going to start with a really great number. That number is 6,109. And that is the number of people, 6,109, who have recovered from the coronavirus just over the last weekend in the United States. Now, isn't that a great number? You're not going to hear that number a lot of places because we got such a fear structure going on out there on the number of the coronavirus that you're not going to hear this everywhere, but 6,109 people recovered from their infection with the coronavirus over the weekend. So this number is going to continue to climb. Things are going to get better out there, and I'm going to tell you that what we've kind of been sold on this. I say that numbers are your friends, but you also hear me say that you trust the numbers, but you verify them. Well, you may remember that on a previous episode of Numbers Are Your Friends, I had the dumb number today was the 2.2 million that some guy in the Imperial College from the UK said was going to die in the United States. And I laughed at that number. I said how ignorant that number was and how it was proven false shortly after that. Well, it's amazing, but that 2.2 million potential death number got adopted by our government and by our healthcare coronavirus task force as a legitimate number. And we're beginning, and a whole bunch of assumptions were based on that. You can look back over the last 10 days and see the shift. It's almost like you've been to a Siegfried and Roy or a Penn and Teller concert and our David Copperfield performance. And through sleight of hand and misdirection, they have taken something that they were calling flatten the curve. How many times have you seen them do this? Flatten the curve. We want to flatten the curve. Never talked about reducing the death because there's no cure for the virus right now. We can treat it with some things. Some things look promising. We don't know for sure yet. We are getting better at some treatments as we learn more about it, but there's no cure for it out there right now. So what we were trying to do in lowering the curve was to see that our medical establishment did not get overwhelmed by the number of patients and cause extra deaths because we couldn't take care of people. Okay? That's what the entire aim of flatten the curve was. You're not even hearing that anymore. Now you're hearing that we are going to reduce the deaths from 2.2 million to some other number. Okay, well, here's the latest from the people who came out with that $2.2 million number. And these are projections that they had, and these were published. You could look them up until today. They changed them today. They reversed them down, or they moved them down a whole bunch. But here were these actual projections, and like I said, you can find these out there. And you can check these numbers. They're dead made on. Here's the projections they had for what yesterday would have been like in the United States. Their projections were that we would need 179,267 hospital beds. We would need 33,176 ICU beds. We would need 26,544 ventilators. According to the CDC website as of this morning, the actual numbers that we had in use for the coronavirus were 27,069 beds, 5,497 ICU beds were occupied, and 1,812 ventilators were in use. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. Let's say that you went down to take your driving test so you could drive a commercial vehicle, okay? And on your written portion of the test, you made a 15, okay? On the driving portion of the test, you made a 16.5. And the instructor turns around and goes, well, this is fantastic. Here are the keys to your 18-wheeler over there, which we're going to hire you right now to go haul hazardous material from New York to LA. What time can you leave to go do this job for us? You would be crazy to hire somebody who had those kind of numbers. This thing is so far off of what we've been led to prepare for out of fear, not out of rational numbers, not out of truth, not out of reality. And in the very beginning of this whole scenario, I did some basic projections based off of the cruise ship, the Diamond Princess. And when I just did a real quick, here's the percent of people that got sick, here's the percent of people that ended up dying, I came out with somewhere between 75 and 90,000 people in the United States that this disease could possibly result in fatality to. Now, people will say, well, that's too simple of a model. You don't have a R-naught on there. You don't have this. Well, Occam's razor says the simplest answer is usually the best. That's very true in modeling, too. The simpler the model, the more accurate it's going to be. These models have gotten so complicated, in my opinion, that they don't even have a clue what they're trying to get. That's why you can come up with the model that is running our choices in the United States right now is 15% accurate. It's 85% wrong. It's 84% wrong. And get this, on the number of ventilators, it's 93% wrong. This is why we do what we do here. This is a huge number, 6,109 people that have passed through and are now recovered from the virus. This number will be growing exponentially every day. These numbers will probably stay at about these percentages wrong based on the original. As a matter of fact, the ones they put out today dropped the number of beds, the total amount of beds that they had projected at one time, I think of 192 down to 239,000 down to about 140,000, which is still way above where we are. I just don't see it. It may come. If it does, the numbers will tell us the truth. But here's what you need to know about this thing. Look at the truth. Because you remember what we say about numbers? Numbers are your friends. Why? Because they will tell you the truth when no one else will. So, don't be scared, be informed. Peace, love, and arithmetic.